Some bright spots since he's been here. I think the biggest thing for him is consistency in everything. Coach Tourney does a great job in the culture that we have at Clemson. There's very high standards and accountability, and before we're going to put a lot of trust, and put that young man on the field, we've got to be able to trust him completely and know that he's a disciplined player and going to do everything we've asked him to do on the field and off the field. And I really think that Jermon sitting out the spring is a major point in his career at Clemson, very similar to Martavis Bryant being held out of the Chick-fil-A Bowl. And Martavis had to make a decision after that point, and he came back, decided he was going to do it the Clemson way, and had the best 12 months he had in his Clemson career on the field and off the field. And I expect Jermon to do the same thing. I think he kind of had his wake-up call and knows that he's not going to have many more opportunities if he doesn't want to do the right thing. But everything I've heard this summer has been very positive, and so if we see him out there on the field in September, it'll mean that he's decided to do it the right way. No, when he was suspended from everything in the West End Zone. He spent time at the academic facility. Anytime we were meeting at the football facility, he was at the academic facility.
This summer he's been back?
Yeah. This summer he's been back full go.
Jeff, I know you probably answered this question a bunch, but what's it like that first meeting when Sammy's not there, or the first time on the field and Sammy's not there? Do you gulp a little bit harder?
Yeah, well, I think we knew that day was coming, and I knew after Sammy's first practice that we better get all we can get out of him in the next 36 months because he's not going to be around here very long. And I think in the recruiting process, you recruit knowing that. And the fortunate thing is, by having great players that are going to have a chance to go on and go to the next level, you're able to recruit great players to replace them. And I think that's what we've done. And, the good news is these 3 freshmen we signed are all really good players and are going to be able to help us. The bad news is they're all true freshmen, and there's a price to be paid for experience, and so they're going to have some learning process as it goes. But I think that this group takes it on as a challenge, because even before Sammy, we had other guys that had success, and last year, obviously Sammy'd come off a little bit of a disappointing sophomore year, and DeAndre Hopkins' numbers were just incredible, and so everybody was wondering how we're going to be able to make up those numbers. And each year it's a new group in that room, and that's kind of what is exciting as a coach, is to see how is that group going to come together, where's the leadership going to be, what's the work ethic, and that's something that those guys take a lot of pride in, because they know the groups before them, the success that they've had, and they want to continue that. And but I think we've got enough talent for sure in that room to be able to do what we need to do to win games.
I know you can never say never, and you're still a very young coach. You ever sit there and say, "Man, I might have coached the best receiver I'm ever gonna coach"?
Yeah, well, it is difficult to sometimes, especially going to New York. I was honored to have the invitation to go up to New York and be there, for the draft, and and I told my wife, you never know, you may never have this opportunity again. And then 15 minutes later, you're on the phone with the recruit telling him in 3 years I'm going to be here with you. And so there's always you never know what happens, but I definitely think that Sammy was a special player, and it'll be a lot of fun the next few years to watch him at the NFL and the success that he's going to have.
You're going to play 2 of the 3 incoming guys this fall. Is that something that's still kind of not quite worked out?
Well, I think you still have the variables. Obviously, Sharon wasn't there in the spring, and then Hopper wasn't there in the spring. So the good part about that is that all 3 of those freshmen will be able to get a lot of reps and a lot of experience, whereas if both Sharon and G-Hop would have been there in the spring, maybe their reps would have been a little bit more limited. So it'll all depend. There's a lot of different factors, and see how they progress in the summer. Everything I've been hearing is positive, but I expect all 3 of those guys, and then even Trevion Thompson is not out of the realm for him to have an opportunity to play this year. There's a lot of time in August. That's a long month. There's a lot of practices. I think we get around 29 practices, so You know, a lot can be determined there. Then obviously injuries and those type of things. It usually clears itself up there about a week before the game. But I would say all 4 of those freshmen have as good a shot as any of them to play this year.